All right, this is my website for this semester for ECED 7260. I chose for my semester-long project to do a book study. And the book that I chose was Nature-Based Learning for Young Children, anytime, anywhere, on any budget. Our first little square here is a picture of me, and if you click Meet Crystal, you will have an introductory video about me and a little bit about my background. The next thing on this main page, it says my book study. If you click that, this is my personal narrative of why I chose this topic. And the reason I chose this book was, first of all, I thought the cover was awesome. So that was part of it. But also, I know that today, being in the schools, students are constantly on technology and it's always in their face. If it's at school, they're on Chromebooks. When they go home, their face is in an iPad or a TV. So the idea of nature-based learning really kind of spoke to me on how to get these students outside and away from technology a little. And I really, really, really enjoyed this book. It was a very easy read. Um, I chose to do mine a little bit about weather, and I think it's more based towards, I teach first grade, and I thought that this may be a little younger than first, maybe a preschool age, but there are ways that you could adapt this book and the activities to go along with older grades. Here at the bottom, these are the things that I did to complete the project, and those are all the things there. Let's go back home. All right, so we're going to go and start with our connection to theory. Here, this page is dedicated to the theories that I researched this semester. And the theory that I stuck with was the 5E learning theory. And so if you click here, you can see my theory and narrative and a theory synthesis. And then at the bottom was the art of argumentation. And that was a theory that I had never really known. And so I explored it a little more and really thought it was a neat um, theory, I think, again, possibly for older students. Connection to culture. The book, Nature-Based Learning, it was broken apart into all these different sections for each activity. And for each activity, it had at the front a letter that would go home to parents to explain to them what was going to happen, what we're going to be learning, what they'll be doing outside, and things like that. So again, just having that connection with parents and building that trust with each other. I thought that was a great way to keep the parents connected. There's sections on inclusion for all children. There's sections for cultural considerations, health and safety issues. There's list of resources depending on funds, connections to literature, and ways to keep the parents engaged. When it comes to the inclusion of different learners, this this book gives ideas to adapt to children that have behavior issues, limited mobility, um, hearing impaired, vision impaired, health issues, anything like that. It actually gives you ways to differentiate the instruction so that all the students can be included on the activities. So one of the things that was in here talked about, with a parent, if you have a child that maybe has limited mobility and you're wanting to do an activity outside and you really don't want anyone to be left out, you want everyone to participate. Having that connection with that parent of the child, you can easily call them up and say, hey, we're going to do this activity and I really want your child to be involved, but I need your help. I need you to come in and, be a second set of hands for me. And that way everybody is able to participate. Uh, but yeah, the book does a great job of doing that, which was nice. All right, content. This is a connection to content knowledge, and I reviewed 2 articles on the NSTA website, and I did a content module on nature-based learning. Here's my reflection, and down here are the top one here, like it'll have the articles, and I did the water cycle, comprehension in digital age, and the content module was for the National Geographic. And below each one of them is my review of that page or article or the content module. My favorite part of the entire project would have to be this page. This is where I created my 5E lesson plan on weather and weather tools, and I created my e-learning module on weather tools, and then I connected science with literacy through trade books with the little raindrop. So clicking here, you can find my lesson plan. You can go through my e-learning module here and see each page. And here you can see the activities and even click there to see a mini lesson video with me in there. So, and then this book was super cute, especially for younger ages. I'm thinking second grade might be the top of it. But it goes through the water cycle in the cutest little way of this little raindrop and how it goes through the different phases and how it's a continuous cycle. So it was a super cute book and it went in perfectly with the whole lesson. But this page was by far my favorite activity throughout the semester that we did. So additional resources. Under here, one of the first activities we did was a virtual field trip. And mine was my backyard. So it goes into nature-based learning. And so you can click through and see different things that I had in my yard and what I observed and how things change. And I love this one, the little roots that we found. So this was just a fun activity also. We had to do an app review, and I chose the MPing app, which was a neat app. It went along with weather and crowdsourcing is what they call it, where you are able to put in information that you collect, whether it's a weather condition or a weather phenomenon, whatever it is, you can put it in on your computer and share it with people all over the US. So we can monitor storms or climate change, anything like that. So it was a really neat app that I had learned about. We also did STEM careers through the Cabinet of Curiosity cubby. I chose to do biology and ecology, and underneath those I did 2 jobs that would go with each one. The coolest job, well, out of all of these, the one that I would like to do would probably be the park ranger, because you get to be out in nature and see these beautiful parks and tell people about how your job is to protect and to keep those places preserved. So the natural beauty just shows for generations to generations. I think just being out in those beautiful spaces all day long for a job would be incredible. But the job that I found was a job I didn't know existed, was the dendrochronologist. Well, this job is a job where you study the trees and you study the rings specifically inside of a tree. And you relate that back to major events such as fires that may have affected the tree and be able to timeline different things. So I thought that was super cool. I had no idea that was a job, but there is somebody out there that is counting the rings of trees. And our last thing here, you can click nature links. And these are some links that I came across when I was doing all my research. Nature for Kids is just a neat little website. It's very kid friendly. But for first grade, I saw, how plants grow. This is something that we would do for first grade, and just some different ideas. The project learning tree is all nature based. I like here where it says, Mother Nature is a great teacher, and getting kids outside to learn and play is good for their brains and bodies. Contact with nature is more essential today, given that children are spending nearly 8 hours a day using entertainment media, and only 6% of children ages 9 to 13 play outside on their own. We are at risk of losing an entire generation's appreciation of how nature works and what it needs to remain healthy and productive. Can you believe that? 8 hours a day. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. And so the last thing here, I came across this one, and to me, this is a great way to incorporate art into the classroom by collecting things in nature and repurposing those things. So just some fun activities. I think it would be neat maybe at the end of a unit to get outside and maybe pick up some items, and maybe the students as a project have to come up with a way to reuse them to come up with a neat little art project. These are all so cute. Just using simple things that they found outside. Okay, so if you go there, you can also go here or on the main page. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see nature links, and it'll take you to the same thing. But overall, this is my semester-long project over nature-based learning for young children. I really encourage you to step out and read the book and pick out some activities. You will not be disappointed. Thanks for stopping by.